also, I'm not going to mislead you. I don't appreciate this spam. Quite frankly, uh, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because if you can hear, you know, the person I'm playing in the background, I'm going to give you an example. It's something called being too blue. You feel me? And I want to bring that to y'all attention. It's very annoying.
Sharboot, where's your channel at today? Doing fucking great, nigga. On the rise. Should have did it before. I fucked up. That's really my fault. And then you talk about the big cheap chain. Hey, my nigga, if there's a problem, you can have that one back. And I fuck with the twins. But that shit never put no money in my pockets neither, dog.
So this is live.
Well, gave me a couple of bags of weed. Ain't nothing but love to him.
The platform.
There was a conflict of interest, homie, and we even stand there with Big Chief. They didn't want them on the table.
Even.
I'm sitting over there fighting for them. I'm like, well, shit, I don't want no scumbag shit on my table neither. That's Zushi. That's who I just left. You ain't know my dilemma, nigga, because you wasn't there for it.
His name
You
is
really
Shaw.
didn't give a fuck. You didn't know. Well, you gave me a chain, you can have that shit back. I still got it for you, bro. Say, oh, well, last minute, we made sure we made sharp one. You was making a power play, dog. Don't try to make it seem like you did that out of the kindness of your heart. Oh, well, we just wanted Sharp over here. Nah, you knew your ass was leaving, and you needed to try to make a statement.
This is too blue.
Don't play, bro.
You ask me. He's not from Cali. He's from Vegas. This is the real reason why the beef started. Neither is Flacco.
Chain back, bro.
Okay?
I know this is a statement piece, and you know what? Why I tip and always cherish it and I never talk bad on Big Chief is because, nigga, when I talk to the twins, they said, no, Sharp, you keep that.
This is federal COINTELPRO. This is what the RICO is about. Watching certain people and letting them bounce. He's supposed to be a pimp. You on the internet with a name like Sharp, and people always try to be sharp on their verbiage, right? You don't have the content and the papers, proper papers, like, you know, certifications to make what you're making. These people fail to realize this.
Come on, dog.
This type of activity could probably spark UFO activity. Feel me?
I told the twins I'd give it back.
Really. Even. This is one of them.
Crazy as hell, homie. Hey, D, you crazy as hell, dog.
You see how, you know,
to the twins,
homie got old, you know, and now people want to make a move on him, and people want to put hands on him, right? No Jumper is destroyed. It was destroying. You got nasty people, nasty spitting at people and on people and stuff like that. Cool. The crime is what's going on and what's getting ignored. That's part of the boule or whatever you want to call it. Is Adam 22. He's a real live cartoon. He's a real live, like, you know, mastermind in live time on trying to make something, you know, old school Jerry Springerish, like, or Richard Bay. Remember that show? Like something out of the ordinary is gonna jump off. It's a lot of stuff going on, but on the West Coast, you know, especially California, they make a lot of money and they produce a lot for America. On my side, on the East Coast in New York, we provide and we bring a lot of capital and income, and you know what I'm saying, like, to have Donald Trump to have his properties everywhere, but he's mainly based in New York, or not mainly based, but he's based in New York, like first at, you know what I'm saying? He's rooted there. Um, with his financial gain, meaning uh, it's easy for us to be a target to, like, a terrorist attack, and it can be perfectly calculated. Just saying, if you learn that there's a tunnel or whatever underground, under the water, and then you learn that a gray alien is actually an organic drone, you see we getting lined up from top to bottom. Now, this person right here, I don't know what he is. I don't know his nationality, his ethnicity. Like I said, I haven't seen every tribe of Indian that roamed the land before the 1300s. You know, you know, organic drone is a gray alien. So imagine what I'm really seeing. Um, so I don't know the different looks, like such as Eric Holder. I don't know if he's Caribbean from Belize or he's Native American, and there's a bunch of his people that look like him on the West Coast, or does he look like people that used to be over here? I don't know it for a fact. What I seen is what I seen. Now, this is another trap in color. You got certain people, they gravitate to color. You see what I'm saying? So once you gravitate to a certain color, and you could learn a scheme, that's why they give, fraudulent convictions with, crimes and stuff like that, names with colors, white collar, blue collar, stuff like that. It's because you're a certain based way. So this right here is a prime example.
Hey, AD, you always talk about that chili, bro. What chili you really getting that you ain't sharing? Cause I ain't sharing shit.
It's a back and forth. It's a dirty blue, if you ask me. Um, he just, you pop the garbage, right? Think about it. You pop the garbage, and then you hope for a weak response so you could pop it again. But if you pop the garbage and then somebody rebels or rebuts against you, there's sometimes, a person like Shark backs down from the fight or whatever. And that leads to gun activity, that leads to weapons activity, knives being pulled and stuff like that.
That's how I know don't none of these niggas ever be in the streets. It's all media shit.
So he's light skinned.
Impossible.
I turn black and I'm light skinned. He can't turn darker than me. Uses the N word a lot towards people that's darker than him 24/7. So it's a new type of racism and a new type of colorism in a new decade, in a new day. And it's blended in with gangs or whatever. And that's why I'm tired of a specific gang. And that's why I come at a certain gang, because I'm just tired of it.
Where a nigga doing it at, dog? You still can't beat me. I'm by myself. It's just me, bruh. And I make will. I wouldn't even want to be on here.
Here we go.
Shit, you got people like damn homie wasting her fucking time the entire time, putting videos, all that. Nigga, she do nothing. She does nothing on the numbers. I'm just calling out the facts. I'm not over here trying to diss nobody, nothing. But you make these videos, all these people do all this shit. What's it do for you? When I make something, that shit go up.
He's doing a great job in not saying the word even. People that overly say the word even usually don't have a really big education, and they just trying to be something called too blue. Now, if you rewind earlier in the tape, he went on an even rampage, right? So this is live or whatever, and I'm letting it go. But yeah, he went on a even rampage. He blacks out. He doesn't know. what they say. It started 44 minutes ago. So I've been taping for 10.
This time is hate. Like,
You
damn, my
could
nigga,
take it back from
we all
20
forgot.
minutes
Everybody thinks
or
that, like,
just watch it
you know,
from
look at you
beginning
here,
to
I was
end,
like, come
from
on,
the
baby.
beginning to end.
You had a problem
44
with
minutes in,
somebody else.
he went on an even rampage.
Me and you was cool.
It
Now all of a
gets
sudden, we
annoying,
the worst
right?
enemy. Oh, what, you was cool with Brick because he let you slap him in the face? Like, man, fuck out of here with all that shit. You knew that I'm not going for it. I'm not going.
See, that's a shot.
Wasn't happening. Wasn't gonna play into any of that shit.
People that use people names, you know, just use somebody else's name, you're a complete coward. And, you know, I wish the worst for you, you know. I'm trying to catch him on another even rampage.
I was talking about my name being talked about, man, from these bitches. Like,
Or I'll rewind it
around.
and then play it or whatever.
You're all burnt out.
But
flunkies.
this is what I'm talking about. This is too blue. This is everybody in the United States is American. This is all y'all know. Now I understand. I understand a lot of us only know the English language, and they taught us a certain way to talk. You know, just in case of an emergency, something happens, you gotta call the ambulance. Just in case of a different type of emergency, you gotta call the police. Not just making your 9 to 5 paper, you know. Now, no, you're not just gonna come to the United States of America, learn the English language and the etiquette, right, in a proper way, and just try to use it on the job. It's just no. You gotta learn when there's a dangerous situation. You know, bullets got no name on it, and accidents happen. You feel me? Any type of accident. Prime example, me. Prime example, what I see. You better know how to communicate the right way and do the right thing. Now, these niggas is not calling the ambulance. If, you know, or the police, if a fight is about to happen, they're not gonna call the ambulance. Yo, call the ambulance. No, they're not. They're gonna let this shit rock. Try to break it up amongst themselves. You feel me? So.
Look what they do. Oh, well, he did this to me. He did this. He did that, bitch. If any of that ever was happening, you allowed it. What's that say about you? It takes two to tango, and anything you want to say, whether it's true or lie.
I'm gonna try to find his even rank. This is what I'm saying. This is it right here. Like, I really don't know where it is. But you see how certain things rub off? Really.
Know about a nigga when she's mad against him. He wrong as fuck. You know, women know that they physically cannot beat up a man. So you know what they do? They hit him where it hurts. They gotta fuck with his shit. She don't get his attention some way. Best believe.
It's a pimp, listen.
That nigga don't care. She gonna make him care. You can say what you want, church. Still have nothing. You right, I don't got shit. I ain't here to give it to you for free. You ain't spent a buck. Nor have you even asked a real question, because you know what, you think you know it all already. But let's just see who gets further. Let's see who he. Because I know it damn sure ain't gonna be you. You feel like you know it all already. You won already, right?
Cartel, bro. It's Puerto Rico.
Can't teach nobody, boy. You still pissing on your nutsack. Ain't got the nerve.
This is
They
Puerto
got the
Rico.
nerve.
I'm not saying he snitched, but look how that joint just worked. Like, he was able to get out of there. Then all of a sudden, Brick Baby's facing 10 to life. Loose Cannon facing 10 to life.
Like I said, I would love to see what AD can do by himself.
And
let's see.
These gang leaders that I just named was over here on the East Coast and on the Southeast. So a lot of rappers and big time people that came up had encounters with these cats and they older. Remember that. That's why I said.
For 3-4 months, hell, try it for 7. Try it for a year.
A person like Hassan Campbell.
That's probably pushing that nigga a little too far. I just want to see what you do for 2 months by yourself. T-Rail at least got smart.
2 months by yourself. If he asking that, he gonna ask for somebody to be locked up.
He already had his own motion going. He already had his own motion going. That's why he been moving. Now you gonna think that shit really does have some motion.
This is a person that spits into the camera. This is a person that labels titles, spitting cold sandwiches and pizza and shit like that.
He invited you over there. He don't need y'all. I don't need nobody.
Certain niggas like him.
And even if I did, shit, I already knew niggas wasn't gonna come no way, so that was never even an option.
There you go.
That was never even an option. I already knew shit. Niggas would say, oh, well, once you get your own shit, man, please, who popped up? Never even got a phone call. Crazy as fuck. And niggas got the nerve to say, oh, well, yeah, Sharp, you know, what's he talking about? Why is he even trying to even say, you know, he's getting bonuses, nigga, but come on, dog. This shit go deeper than that.
Feel me? You see when somebody got the gun, you feel me? Not necessarily confident in what they could do, but when they got the gun, they him, Gangland Neem. You see how Gangland Neem, he has this stare, this extra confident stare that he can catch you, you know, in his content or whatever with when he's rebelling against his chat. If he reads something, now I'm not saying he doesn't have the right to defend himself, but certain comments or whatever, certain words and a certain way you articulate words to make it appear one way when it's really not written that way. So, you know, you know how a lot of you people play, I'll just, you know, break it or whatever. A lot of you people, y'all always go on the homosexual hinge and try to, you know, look at that or whatever. And that whole circle of, you know, what y'all play is a type of way. And it only has to be backed by a gun. So when you catching that extra bop and, you know, he has this extra ripper, you know, ripping type of bop, Gangland Neem, he's more like a cowboy, like gunslinger. You know what I'm saying? Like these people, they have a bop or whatever, and it's not their fists. Alright? So their hands ain't talking. Like Almighty Suspect size Sharp up, and Sharp is like kind of old and diminishing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that's what happens, and they said if you take care of yourself, you get the longevity of everything. And it's a benefit such as what's happening to Sharp right now. He's constantly getting sized up, even though he's an older dude or whatever. Came off young. But that's my point. The same propaganda that he's selling due to his appearance, he's gaining an audience and he's attracting an audience, attracting a base that could perform more what? Crime in the street. This is called Federal COINTELPRO. For him to be a radio man because he sounds like one, TV reporter, newscaster, or any type of blogger, you have to be licensed to do it. Okay? To be a Kai Cenat, you have to be licensed. To be a Deshae Frost, you have to be licensed. To be a DDG, you have to be licensed. They not licensed. They don't have. They just have popularity and accolades. They don't have the actual education and the certification and the crossing of making this type of stuff. So all of this is being watched, and this could be used against the United States of America if anybody wants to sue the United States of America. Gangland Neem is not a certified blogger. He doesn't. If you participate or if you get a job or if you know anything about journalism, you have to get a certification to become a journalist. You cannot just be a writer, a critical thinker writer, freelancing writer at home, and then just think you could just jump into journalism. You have to get, basically certified. They crucify you and before they certify you, becoming a journalist. So all of these Hassan Campbells, or these DJ Rex, or Zip with the Drip, Showface News, Adam 22. I'm not sure about academics. See, academics probably has he probably has like a certificate in journalism. However, the platform YouTube isn't that safe. That's why you have big markets and blockbuster markets and franchises that hire people on a 9 to 5, such as ESPN. And you see how Stephen A. Smith, he has his 9 to 5 as well as he has his journalism skills, and he does his thing on YouTube. But YouTube is not a safe haven like ESPN. Despite what ESPN is going through, I'm just using ESPN right now because ESPN is going through something where they could be removed from cable TV and you gotta buy ESPN for like $30. We can just use something like Nickelodeon, or we can use any type of cable or satellite type of app, not just Showtime and HBO. See what I'm saying? You see like how you can cancel YouTube, but then again you can cancel HBO and Showtime too, or Nickelodeon or something like that later down the line. However, this safe haven is what is going to be shown on the satellite TV and what's going to be shown on cable TV. So you want to sign with Showtime as your 9 to 5 boss and accept them, right? And then you would want to do YouTube on your own. And if you're fraudulent about it, which it is, you'll get caught regardless. If you have an honest audience, you might have a better chance at success. At the end of the day, when you're taking this route in this situation, you have to have your business name, LLC, and EIN. You have to have some type of income coming towards this. Now, am I saying it's safe business wise, making the sales? Yeah, but if you have content exploiting certain demographics such as violence or fraud or miscommunication or misinformation, you are subject to immediate arrest by the federal government, not the police of the city and state. And you are going to go to the penitentiary under the federal guidelines and not the city and state, because the federal is hiding the city and state. So I'm not understanding why you people are certified on here or not certified on YouTube who's not certified. That's my point of making this, talking this. This is obvious that YouTube was a test. YouTube was like a cheese bait that was given to regular citizens by the federal government, that were rejected by MSN, that was rejected by CNN, that was rejected by the Cartoon Network, that was rejected by Disney, that was rejected by ESPN and the NBA, as well as the NFL, that was rejected, like myself, by boxing, because I have a laceration and not a scar that came from a pair of gloves. Usually people that get scarred in a fight, a boxing match per se, And when you get scarred by gloves, if it's not too bad, you can go pro. However, outside of a boxing match or a sparring session, if you get hurt with something sharp and it penetrates your skin, you're not able to go pro. And pro is the last thing for somebody that's down and out, such as a felon or something like that, or somebody that just cannot find another way of living. See what I'm saying? Y'all not answering the questions. Y'all want me to feel a way, and y'all want me to let y'all just stampede over me, but you're not smarter than me. And by the looks of things, y'all niggas is not stronger than me either. You know, I'm seeing a notice in timing and lapse in your content and in your music because you're breathing and the oxygen that's formulating from your brain isn't catching at a proper frequency, but you're trying to be blue. However, it's so many of you guys feeling, and there's so many of you people that feel this miserable way, this, I don't know, this tired, dehydrated way, is that y'all all catch each other's tiredness and you're able to breathe together somehow. I'm just letting you know. So this is called the dirty blue. Okay, this is the lights of Hassan Campbell bullying Zip with the Drip, who did time in jail, a whole bunch of time in jail, right? And Hassan Campbell getting away with an ultra laugh because people in other countries know, and I was told by the Mexican community that lived next to Africa Bambaataa, and this is what Hassan Campbell's not understanding, that Africa Bambaataa is sick. So being that Africa Bambaataa is sick and he passes out, right, in front of people, and now he's waking up to a man's penis in his mouth, and he's also getting extorted because he's a musician, right, in the state of New York. You start to see why certain terrorist attacks happen and how everything is related intricately. When I say intricate, I mean piece by piece, small piece by piece. Because all you have to do is take the color out the situation. Okay? We look at Africa Bambaataa, we're just gonna call him a black Muslim that was known for molesting light skinned and black kids. But if you look at the other countries that know and took care of Africa Bambaataa before, the other countries are looking at America, especially New York, saying that's some sick shit that's happening because y'all letting him get raped. Now, if we look at New York and see how disgusting in New York is about that Africa Bambaataa and Hassan Campbell situation, you can also be another country and look at New York and laugh if you want to destroy Donald Trump's property and his money by bombing what? The United States of America, and also making New York being affected down in New Jersey and also up to Connecticut and Massachusetts. Okay? Don't you see that? Don't you see how the hospital has its say in the government? So if you fell victim to a dirty blue, mind you, my family, my father and mother, like I said, they get blamed for this dirty blue situation because I have a different eye color and nobody physically told me. But I knew, but then again, I also knew that they were being dirty towards me by not telling me my eye color, because later in life I found out the definition of the word faggot. The original definition of the word faggot is a blue-eyed man. Before any definition that you see that's in the dictionary, the original, it was basically like a gender. You see, when you go to the DMV, you can only put that your eyes are either brown or black, but if somebody got distinctive green eyes, you can put that or whatever. You see that they don't let you put black eyes or whatever. That's all related humanities. That's the humanity situation. You have to go to school and you have to take up humanities. Now, all of this YouTube and is so appealing because it's red, right? Knowing that this is a dirty blue game. You didn't understand that this test was to justify any type of war that was waged on the United States of America, despite if the citizens were born here, despite if they immigrated here, or if they were lied to or taught the truth. Because it's an experiment, like a living experiment in a project, like a housing project. That's all it is. So if you want to call the firmament, a dome, be my guest, right? But you haven't showed me exactly what you're talking about. So when it comes to language, you have to be a little bit more, clear. Certain people don't know other languages, so I'm not gonna talk with an accent, right? But I know you're trying to call me like a fake ass white person if I'm articulating myself at a store and it's a bunch of Spanish people that work at the store and you speak a different language on your off time. That used to be illegal also, right? Or if you're speaking Patois, or if you're speaking Arabic. It used to be illegal a long time ago, okay? So if you're looking at me with an attitude as I'm articulating myself because I sound like quote unquote the white man, I don't know other languages, or I didn't learn. Rather, I do, but I didn't learn other languages coming up. I had to learn them on my own. That's my point. You see, you learned something rooted, so you feel good for learning your heritage. But when you're out in the real world and then they show you a true native of the land, somebody that's really indigenous, and the family is showing you that we are indigenous from a long time ago, you you see how your giddy ways, you see how your yellow or dirty blue ways, it starts to drop to red, and I show you that what the real root is. So he didn't drop the even bomb, and I'm gonna try to play it again about 50 times. Now these people, they talk like this because they plot on somebody first. They fertilize first. Okay? There's a victim, or there's something that they see in somebody, a flaw in their life, and they want to take advantage because they want to be beneficial from the situation. So if we on the West Coast, a lot of people thought, the Bloods and Crips was something different. I learned the Bloods as being molestations, molestators of a man, of a boy, right? The opposite of molestation or whatever is pedophilia, I guess, because of what you categorize as pedophilia. Now, in certain states, people that have girls, and this is these people's curses, the people that make this type of content, don't you notice they have daughters, more daughters than they have sons? You have to realize that a female has to live her life. She has to be born and she has to grow up, and she's entitled to feel any type of way, right or wrong. Now, whether she's gonna get penalized for it later down the line, that's just what happens. But men, especially when they become fathers, they try to dictate women too much. So that's where a person like me, I came in or whatever, because I seen a woman's way too. I'm like, she can't sit up here and just be controlled. And if you have done it before, a woman has rebelled. That's the colonial time. That's the witchcraft time. So what these fathers do, they fail to realize that they put a restriction on something that's natural and it's sex, despite them knowing that they can't know that they had sex before. They regard that shit, right? Then a woman realizes that sex is her tool, is her weapon in life. So then the man becomes in a panic, right? You see it with animals and everything. That's just what a woman does. And you catch a man trying to put no tags on his wife, and you catch him trying to put it on his daughter, but he's also thinking about this mysterious figure on the other side of his body, and it happens to be a little boy. So that's all a woman has to hear. Okay. So y'all niggas is caught with this transgender shit. You see what I'm saying? You see my name and you see why I named it that way. So I caught y'all niggas. Y'all niggas is never gonna eat on this platform the way y'all want to eat on it. All right, anymore. It's over with. Okay, it's done. Because I'm the little boy that's held on the other side from the daughter and the wife, the mother, or the sister, or the cousin, or whatever female. So this is not handled by the police. This is handled by federal government. And this is looked at slowly. And this is looked at by many people more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times. Is these characteristics, okay, of these people. You see how they have the news, right? And they have a whole bunch of news reporters saying the same line at the same time in the same exact way. Well, they can go to YouTube and find a whole bunch of people and play different videos at the same time, and these people are acting the same exact way. I know you've seen it in a different way. I know you've seen it. That's scary, because that's catching a whole bunch of pedophiles, right? it's it's like you can catch a whole bunch of pedophiles by using YouTube instead of going to the news and seeing all the reporters saying the same thing and catching a whole bunch of lizard people and a whole bunch of alien looking people. You can catch a whole bunch of human pedophiles doing the same thing. And that's the definition of new technology. In 5D, a 5 dimension, a 5 dumbass, a person that